We'll start with our newspaper review of the top headlines of the national dailies. For now, we're going to start with a Weekend Trust, where right boldly in front, we have how Ganduji was forced to resign. I guess this is an in-depth of, the resignation that he did on Saturday. And then it's actually a little bit of, as I said earlier, a shocker for people.
Yeah,
but then at the end
is.
of the day, it's an in-depth on how Ganduji was forced to resign. And it said that indications have emerged that Abdullahi Ganduji was compelled to resign as the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress. And it said Ganduji, a former governor of Kano State, reportedly tendered his resignation letter yesterday. It was all over the news. It was on everybody's lips. But then one thing that caught my attention, it's like the speculation that he was forced. But then according to sources confirmed that the head of one of the security agencies was at Ganduji's residence around 2 a.m. on Friday to demand his resignation letter. Who was that security agent? We don't know. But then at the end of the day, what is your take on this, Maria?
Ganduji said he is sick. He is resigning because he needs medical attention. And this is what we are saying this morning. The news he was
forced. But then how true do you think it is?
That's why I said there are lots of speculations. The chaos is just so like you said, you cannot even expect unexpected. You don't even know how to think about. Once you start thinking of this, you see another unexpected thing happening. By this time yesterday, nobody expected him to resign because we all know Ganduji,
He was up and about everywhere in the front lines. You could see, exactly. Physically, we could see that
he had a series of meetings even at yesterday's morning.
Absolutely. So what compelled him, as they said, what compelled Ganduji to resign, which...
it will unravel soon, I'm very sure.
Hopefully. Next up, we have desperation. Low purchasing power turns Nigerians turn to expired goods. That is on page 7 of the Weekend Trust. This is actually a devastating thing, to be honest, when it comes to a point where in a country that people have a low purchasing power, they have a low income streams, and that would push them to buy expired goods due to the fact that it is cheaper than, products or goods that are not expired. What do you think about this issue, and how do you think it could be tackled as soon as possible? Because at the end of the day, this could be detrimental to people's health.
Hawa, I think it's not only appalling, but it is very shameful. Nigerians should have passed this already. We have a lot of things to deal with in Nigeria. This should be the bare minimum. Absolutely. What people will eat should be the barest minimum. Absolutely. So reading this made me really sad, very sad, because this shouldn't be happening in Nigeria at this age.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, if the welfare of the people of the country is not looked after, what are you doing? What is your role on that seat that you occupy? At the end of the day, we have to look at this with a very discerning eye. There are lots of things that are going on that even instigates all these things, because at the end of the day, when you have an insecure state, everything is going to be volatile when it comes to insecurity, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to food security. At the end of the day, and then it trickles down to healthcare and education and all of that. But then I hope that the people that are responsible in making sure that each and every Nigerian is doing okay are going to rise up and do the needful. So down below we have, again, poverty, insecurity threaten the 2027 elections, which is actually a report which is on page 10 of a Weekend Trust. If you want more, you can go through the Weekend Trust and stay updated. When you say poverty is an insecurity threaten 2027 elections, at the end of the day, we are in 2025. And these politicians are already, putting themselves out there, in preparations for 2027. So what do you think is going to happen if you're not concentrated on governance? If you're not concentrated on making sure that your people are in the right mental space, their bellies are filled, their healthcare is taken care of, education is good. What do you think about it?
However, there's a Vox Populi actually did on that, and people actually allegedly say that I think they do it intentionally, keep people hungry, so that during the election you can like
the desperation.
Exactly. Last elections, it was approved last election, especially in Kano State, where also what happened? People collected 1 pack of spaghetti and 1 pack of Maggi to vote for a particular political party. So when you keep people hungry, they get desperate. You give them anything, just the smallest thing will make them vote for you.
Absolutely.
And that was what we got from the crowd outside.
And then it is a sad situation. How desperate, Mariam, can a Nigerian be to be given a pack of Maggi or a pack of spaghetti, not a singular pack of of spaghetti, or a mudu of rice to vote for you? Or at the end of the day, some give 1,000 naira. That is even a lot. 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira.
1,000 is a lot.
That is
500 naira.
Because I believe at the end of the day, the Nigerian feels like, okay, let me get what I can get. Because at the end of the day, when they are being voted into office, I don't get anything. I don't benefit from anything. I stay in hunger. Nothing in my life improves, and nothing in my surrounding improves at the end of the day. But it's a sad situation, and to be honest, I'm hoping that Nigeria comes out of this rut. But then at the end of the day, they're saying it's going to affect 2027 elections, especially with insecurity. There are other places that cannot be accessed due to insecurity as well for people to vote.
Let's see what happens. 2027 is such a long time, a little long time from now. So, like I said,
well, it seems like it's not a long time, because at the end of the day, they already started, campaign, putting themselves out there.
But what is happening in Nigeria, if you're a Nigerian, in fact, even people that are not Nigerians are seeing it. It's glaring. It's many things happening in Nigeria. It's just uncalled for and very sad.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. At the top right of Weekend Trust, we have conditions set for Fubara's return as Tinubu brokers a truce. Well, this one I would have to ask you, do you think this truce is going to hold up? Because at the end of the day, they've been back and forth and different things that have gone on with Wiki and Fubara and Tinubu
as well. It's a little bit silent if he went on. They suspended him and gave the administrator. So what page is that for audience to read?
That is on page 6 of Weekend Trust. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and dive in. At the top right, we have reaching 98, biggest surprise of my life, Mrs. Funke Arthur Worry. That is on page 14. Having to live a long life and reaching a particular age in your life, there are lots of people that wouldn't imagine that they've reached a particular age, and I'm just only imagining. What would you think? Imagine yourself reaching 98, Mario.
It will be such an honor, like experiencing everything, ages
and the life lessons that you have,
accomplishing lots of things. It's gonna be very
and especially
a very
if
good
you're
ride for me.
in good health. That is very important.
Yeah.
If you're in good health and you reach the age of 98, that is 2 years before 100, Mariam. That is 2 years before 100. That is a lot of years.
We have to say congratulations to her for reaching this age. Honestly, it's not easy. It takes a lot of blessings from God,
All right, last but not least, at the bottom we have Kenyan court affirms Kanu's rights violation, awards 10 million shillings damage. We have this, apparently Kanu his rights have been violated. That is on page 36 of the Weekend Trust. That is all we have on the front page of the Weekend Trust. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay updated.
So how we go to the Tribune?
All right. All right. Seems like we're going to the Guardian.
Okay, Mario? The Guardian, right? Okay. In the front page, boldly written as "Workers' financial insecurity deepens amidst violation of pension law." You can get these stories on pages 8 and 9 of The Guardian. Right down is Tinubu, other African leaders canvass homegrown solutions to continent's economic challenges. It is right when you open the page 2 of The Guardian, you will see this news. Uncertainty trails resignation of Ganduji. We've discussed this. You know, that's the hottest like news
Absolutely,
right now.
as I said, it's on everybody's lips.
Yeah.
But then with the previous headline that you spoke about, Tinubu and other African leaders canvass homegrown solutions to continent's economic challenges, which is on page 2, I believe,
that's one
Guardian.
Tinubu others, yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I always see, we are Africa. There's a reason that they call us the giant of Africa. Because everything is in Africa. Fertile lands, natural resources, there are lots of things, and as well as manpower and brain power as well in Africa. So there is a lot that we can do when it comes to putting it together and canvassing homegrown solutions to the continent's economic challenges. What do you think?
Why do you think the colonial masters came and resided in Africa long years ago, like many years ago? Because they knew that Africa has lots of blessings. We're blessed with everything. Good lands, agriculture, petroleum, just name it. Like when it comes to the people, we have brains, you know, everything. And that's why these people came and invaded us very long time ago. The biggest problem, I'm not even limiting it to Nigeria, the biggest problem we have, it's our African leaders. I'm so sorry to say, but that's the truth. The corruption has eaten deep. You know, not even the leaders, even we as people. Everybody wants to like outsmart this person. This one wants to, you know. So that's the other, that we can just like limit it to greed and selfishness. Once we remove that, I bet you Africa is going to be a very like
and
one
what
of
I
the
always
first
say,
continent.
As you said earlier, corruption has seeped through us that we do not see the bigger picture. But I always see we are Africans. Make sure you be the change you want to see in the world. Let us rise up. Let us change Africa, and let us make a positive impact in Africa. Africa.
Yeah. So another headline you can find in The Guardian, like right at top right is Governor Dapo Abiodun. My biggest challenges in office. I think that's an interview with him. You can get that interview right on page 5 of The Guardian. The room for violence in upcoming polls. NSA wants politician. You can find this in news page 3. You know, I think, like you said, we don't know what will really happen in 2027, but there's every tendency with the chaos, disagreements, you know, fights here and there. I just pray we get we have a very, very peaceful election.
I absolutely hope for that too, because at the end of the day, I believe when it comes to, you know, the polls, elections, when it comes to the election year, I believe the violence has died down, not as it was before. And I would hope and want and pray that it continues like that, because at the end of the day,
because
absolutely,
it wouldn't warrant to anything. Just have
Nigerians are already suffering enough. What will it be if you add, you know, violence when it comes to the upcoming polls? That will be another kick to the stomach for Nigerians.
Yeah, then we are down on the front page. Governor Ali reverts May salary to loan payable in 3 months.
Okay.
Whatever that means, you can find it on news page 36 of The Guardian. And the last headline to take there is Chris Christian, 60 years have taught me pain as eunuch. You know, I think that's for the my Christian brothers. When you can find us in page 8 of The Guardian, and that is the much we can take in the front page of The Guardian newspaper.
All right, next up we have Saturday Tribune. On Saturday Tribune, right in front, we have Shetima's fate unsure as Ganduji loses out in APC power play. Well, as we spoke about, it's
Yeah,
on
you know,
everybody's list.
That's the top news this morning.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the speculations when it comes to, why Ganduje resigned as the chairman of APC, and why Shetima was not endorsed together with Tinubu during that, whole
The
debacle.
Northeastern
Yes,
gathering.
exactly. That happened.
That was what caused the huge fight.
Absolutely, and it's a sad situation whereby there cannot be a political gathering where you can't see some sort of violence or some sort of hostility. At the end of the day, it is the same party. It's still APC, but then internal conflicts is just getting too much. Internal conflicts in APC, internal conflicts in PDP, internal conflicts in LP, and there are lots of people, for example, like in PDP, saying that due to the internal conflicts in PDP, they've moved to APC as well as LP. And then now with all of this, what do we say about our political parties and the political scene?
This internal conflict has been happening for years in political parties.
Absolutely.
But most of them are not too loud like the ones we have these days, and I feel like it's because these are same people, same mindset, just changing parties.
Absolutely.
So of course you're going to get that, and it's Atiku going back to this, Tinubu going back to this political party, Erufai changing to this particular party. So of course you're going to get that,
Well, we shall see what would hold in the next 2 years. Down below, we have Tinubu embarks on 2-nation tour to St. Lucia, Brazil. That is on page 4 on Saturday Tribune. Make sure you go through so that you can stay updated. Next up, Yahaya Bello seeks courts leave to travel abroad. That is on page 4. Well, with everything that's happening and him in court and him seeking
it will be very overwhelming for him, of course.
But then at the end of the day, where are you going? Where are you going?
And that's our politicians for you, Hawa.
Oh my God. At the bottom, we have Afenifere, Pandef, SMBLF, mourn ex-Kwara Governor Adebayo's transition. Well, with the move that's going on, I think nothing is a shock, because at the end of the day, transitioning is, should I say, the norm now, because each and every person is defecting from one to the other. At the top left, we have Ondo, government declares crisis over Owo Memorial Park demolition resolved. At the right, we have Kwara United Abakaliki FC in battle royale today. That is on page 11 of Saturday Tribune. If you want any update on sports, make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay informed.
So, moving to Saturday Punch. The boldly written is Wiki Fubara feud. Governor supporters clash over peace deal. It's a surrender, not reconciliation, says the ex-commissioner. Resolution climax of Tinubu's effort, says ex-reps member. Well, you can find this in page 4 of the Punch Saturday newspaper. On the top left is a real reason Abacha couldn't kill Tinubu's mother, MKO Abiola's son Jamiu. This is a very huge allegation, if you ask me.
Absolutely. And I think with the recent, celebration of June 12th, there's been a lot of unraveling that has gone on. We have Sililami saying his different account of what happened during the June 12th elections, and then now MQ Abiola's son Jabiu says there's a real reason Abacha couldn't kill Tinubu's mother. Why would he want to kill Tinubu's mother? That's another question. Well, that is on page 24 of Saturday Punch. Go in and read up so that
Yeah, of
you
course.
could get more information.
Why APC National Chairman Ganduje resigned? I think this is in all the national dailies today.
Absolutely.
Some say Ganduje said he is sick and needs health attention, like medical attention, and reliable source, because the Weekend Trust is a very reliable source for news, says he was forced to resign.
Absolutely.
I know many things will unravel within the week. Down the front page, as 14 Chinese face deportation for aiding terrorism in Nigeria. Wow. Well, you can find that in page 14 of The Punch. Border policemen raped us en route to Libya, returnee. This has been happening for years, and I don't understand why people do not like learn lessons. We see this happening. We see movies of these things. We see the real life situations, documentaries of how they suffer. Some even lose their lives, but they still go to these places.
Well,
through illegal routes.
To be honest, it is very heartbreaking due to the fact that this is a recurring story, and you would wonder if people do not learn from other people's, experiences. There are situations that have gone on and have going on, and this did not start now. It's been going on for years and years and years. And at the end of the day, people feeling that there are greener pastures elsewhere, and the route and the journey that they go through to get there. First off, it is illegal. Second off, it is inhumane on themselves for taking that risk, and for the people that are taking them on that journey, because at the end of the day, you would have to be honest with yourself. Some people do not know the process. They are, cajoled into accepting, exactly, and misinformed as well. Absolutely. And then aside from that, there are people that just want to leave and get out of where they are. That is why it is a call on our leaders. It is a call on the people responsible in making sure that Nigeria is a little bit easier for each and every Nigerian, making sure that they feel they are safe in their country, that they don't have to look for greener pastures where it will lead to their doom.
But even at that, we all know, like, we have in mind the harsh economic situation we are in Nigeria. But as a person, just because of that, will you subject yourself to that inhumanity to yourself? Like, will you subject yourself to that sufferness? It is too, I think the pain is too much. I watched a documentary and I couldn't sleep for 2 days. People that follow these illegal routes to Libya and what have you. So I feel like we have to be a very little kind to our own selves, and just find ways to live in
properly.
Our own country. Exactly.
Yeah.
When you go out and look for money, you hustle, you get this money, so you get something to sustain yourself. You mustn't even if you want to travel or for greener pastures, do it the right way.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then some cannot be faulted because they fall into the hands of people that do not tell them the proper, or do not offer proper, procedures in making sure that they get to their destination. It's an absolute sad situation.
Quickly, because time is no longer in our side. On the top right of the Punch, as Speed Darlington kicks as Naptip declares singer wanted. Just last 2 weeks he was. I think he shared a video of himself talking about how he slept with a minor, I think, and that's the reason they declared him wanted now. He had series of back and forth with the authorities just last 2 weeks.
And he's absolutely a very controversial person.
He is. Then the final one is Ogun final year student commits suicide after suspension for exam malpractice. This is so sad. I think I would like to tell the parents we should be more kinder to our kids, because sometimes we threaten, and yes, we threaten them. I know personally of a woman that told her kid, you can never, don't even bring your result back home if you don't take the first position. She doesn't even accept the second. So when you subject your child in that kind of situation, of course he's going to do the unthinkable.
Parents, to be honest, we have to understand that not every child has the capacity to meet the expectations that you need them to meet at the end of the day. So you have to make sure that you reason on the same level as your child, and make sure that their capabilities are within the reach of what you encourage them to do, so that it doesn't push them to extreme, things. Yes. All right, and with that, we've come to the end of our review of the national dailies. Make sure you stay with us on Daybreak Extra